It is truly a special day as we welcome our Chief of Space Operations, General Salty Saltzman, and his wife Jennifer, and their kids John and Sarah. The Raymonds and the Saltzmans families have been close friends for many, many years, and I can assure you that the Space Force is in great hands, and we look forward to them leading our new service to even greater heights. Salty, again, my sincere congratulations. Secretary Austin and General Milley, thank you for your steadfast leadership. The United States military has never been stronger or more ready than it is today, and it needs to be as we face the most complex strategic times in our nation's history. Personally, and on behalf of all of Guardians, thank you for your leadership and the absolute privilege to serve. Secretary Kendall, thank you for your strong leadership of the Department of the Air Force. There is no question that both the Air and Space Forces are better today because of your focus and the sense of urgency that you have instilled. It has been a privilege to serve on your team along with Undersecretary Jones. Thank you both. To General C.Q. Brown, it's been great to come to work every day and serve with someone I respect as a leader, an airman, and a friend. Molly and I have enjoyed serving closely with you and Shireen and look forward to staying connected to you in the years ahead. I would also like to thank my fellow members of the Joint Chiefs for being here. I have been privileged to serve alongside you on this really incredibly important team. I'd like to take a minute to say thanks to my transition lead, Colonel Jessica Weddington. Jessica, I can't thank you enough for all you have done to make this day and this last week's so special for both the Saltzmans and the Raymonds. And I also want to thank your assistant, Tech Sergeant Matt Paskey. Everything has been flawless, and I can't thank you enough. I also want to say a sincere thanks to my front office team, the whole first team, for all you have done. You know, it's pretty easy to come in and go to work. It's really hard to come in and have to build your job. And to do that and then continue to move the ball down the field is not easy. And again, as you've heard before, you all have made it look easy. So for everybody that I have had the privilege of serving with in the front office and the CSO team, my sincere thanks on behalf of Molly and I. So I stand here today, homeless, unemployed, but humbled and grateful for the opportunity to have served our nation for the past 38 years. Following in the footsteps, as you heard, of my great-great-grandfather and my relatives. Sir, you said you can't make this up, but I tell you, you've got good speechwriters that make a lot of stuff up. I was privileged to take an oath of office on 11 May 1984 at Clemson University, again, the Harvard of the South, when my dad administered the oath of office to me for the first time. And Second Lieutenant Raymond entered the family business of military service. 35 years later, in a hangar right there, just a few hundred yards from here, the National Defense Authorization Act was signed, and it stated, and I quote, "There is established a United States Space Force as an armed force within the Department of the Air Force. And thus, the United States Space Force was born, and it has been my highest honor to serve as the Chief of Space Operations." This is a team sport, and although there's been a lot said about me today, this is not done by Jay Raymond. This is done by the entire team. So I'd like to recognize a few folks, if I could. Former Secretary Barbara Barrett, ma'am, thank you. I was on Secretary Barrett's wing in the very early stages of establishment. And ma'am, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and your support and your vision that you provided us in the very early days that was so instrumental in where we are today. Thank you. General D.T. and Mary Thompson. D.T. is the hardest working and most brilliant officer I have had the privilege of serving with. And Mary is such a caring and dear friend for Molly and all of the Guardian families. D.T. and Mary, thank you for all you have done to help bring this service to life. We look forward to a lifetime of friendship. Chief Master Sergeant Toby Toberman and his wife Rachel, thank you for being incredible teammates in this adventure. Molly and I are incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to serve with you. In establishing the Space Force, the United States capitalized on an opportunity to elevate space to a level that's consistent with its importance to our national security and to ensure U.S. and global leadership in the domain. And just as the space domain was critical to winning the Cold War, the Space Force represents our nation's best opportunity to secure peace and deter great power conflict today and into the future. It's often said that the only way to predict the future is to create it. To the Guardians here today and stationed around the world, that's exactly what you have done, and I salute you. With the great support from the department, from Congress, and I'd like to take a special moment to single out Congressman Cooper. You talk about General Raymond being the father of the Space Force. That's not true. This was bipartisan support of Congress, and there was two significant leaders in that, and that was Congressman Cooper and Congressman Rogers. Sir, thank you for being here. And with the support of multiple administrations, Guardians have taken a clause from the National Defense Authorization Act and turned it into a military service, delivering advantage to our nation and to our allies and partners today. Without a doubt, we are better postured and a more capable and ready force than we were just 3 short years ago. And although still in our terrible twos, we have attracted incredible talent, matured international partnerships, driven unity of effort across the department and interagencies, strengthened our already close relationship with NASA and the National Reconnaissance Office, and advanced our relationships with commercial industry, designed a more resilient force structure, and advanced norms of responsible behavior. Starting with a clean sheet of paper to build a new service is hard, but space is hard, and Guardians don't shy away from tough challenges. You thrive on them. Your big ideas of reshaping total force integration, recruiting, holistic health assessment, readiness, technology insertion, and creating a more fused relationship with commercial industry, a source of great strength. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our industry leadership that's here today. Elon Musk, sir, thank you for being here. Ray Acevedo, Jim Chilton, Tom Gould, Robert Lightfoot, Mr. Robertson, Tom Wilson, and Ed Joyce, thank you. To the airmen assigned to the Space Force, please know that you are an integral part of our team, and we rely on you daily, and you have never failed to support us. CQ and Chief Bass, would you do me a favor and please pass along my sincere thanks to the airmen that provide us such great support. As I look out at the audience today, I see leaders from our allies and partners around the world. Thank you for making the trip here to be with us, and thank you for your leadership and partnership. We are clearly stronger together. I also see dear friends dating all the way back to my 7th grade when I was a dependent in Germany with Dave Carson and his wife Sue. We're thrilled to have Kiefer and Shauna Thompson and Cooper here. Thompson Square, an incredible music group, and I will tell you, as great as they are singers, they are even greater supporters of our military, and I appreciate you very much. I also see coworkers from across my career, former mentors and bosses like Dr. Matt Daniels, Colonel Steve Sherwood, General Don Cook, General Bob Kaler, General Burt Field, General Willie Shelton, General Shags O'Shaughnessy, and General Hyten. Again, thank you so much for all your support and mentorship. I consider DC my home, and it's been great to live close to family. My mom, Barbara Raymond, my brother Greg and his wife Beth, 2 of their children, Jack and Sarah, are here. My sister Janet and her husband Bill are all here with us this morning. Mom, thank you to you and Dad for raising us in a manner consistent with the core values of military service. We're also excited that Molly's brother Dan and his wife Ginger and their son David and his wife Kayla flew in from Minnesota to be here. Thank you for being here. 38 years ago, I arrived in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and met the love of my life, Molly, having coffee and donuts after church Molly actually lived at the Catholic Newman Center and gave tours for free room and board. When she offered to give me a tour, I thought she was hitting on me. And once we started dating, all of the members in my squadron thought I was dating a nun. To quote a country music song by Walter Hayes, ever since then, I've been trying to keep her from figuring out that I married up and she married way, way down. For everyone that knows Molly, that's not hard to figure out. My friends are wrong. Molly isn't a nun, she's a saint. She's the bedrock of our family, and after all, she's had to put up with me for 35 years. I am so blessed to be her husband, and our Space Force family is lucky to have had her as their first lady. She has worked tirelessly, making connections in history together with our Guardian families. Mr. Secretary, thank you for recognizing Molly with the Distinguished Public Service Award. She was way, way more effective and impactful than I could ever be. Molly and I are blessed with 3 wonderful children. Molly and I are blessed with 3 wonderful children. Military children also serve their country. All 3 of our kids attended 3 different high schools, moved in the middle of school years, had to make new friends frequently, had to fight hard for positions on soccer teams and football teams. I think they would each tell you they wouldn't trade it for the world. They are more resilient, have a more worldly view, and have grown up to be incredible young adults. Christine, as was mentioned, works at Wounded Warrior Project in their marketing department. She is a newlywed, and her husband, Nick, and his parents, Brenda and Paul Wilson, and Nick's brother, Evan, and his wife, Erica, also flew from Minnesota to be here with us today. Amy's a 3rd grade teacher in Springfield, Virginia. She is the perfect teacher and a beautiful young lady. We are so proud of her. She has just completed her master's degree in education, and her students are lucky to have her as a teacher. Our son Gary will graduate from Yale this December, and is a tight end, as you heard, on the football team. Gary spent the night on a train and almost didn't make it here because there was an electrical wire across the train track, which made him sleep in a tunnel on a train for about an extra 2.5 hours, and got here right as we were walking out. Gary, thank you. It's an honor to have you here, and it meant a lot that you took all that effort to be here. So as my career re-enters the atmosphere and comes to an end back on Earth, let me say again, thank you. It has truly been a privilege and an honor to serve our great country and do so with family, friends, and the incredible team of Guardians and Airmen that I have been lucky to serve with each and every day. I'll close by circling back to our Space Force Guardians. Go invent your future. You are serving during the most complex strategic environment we have ever faced, amidst a significant shift in the character of war. The United States is a spacefaring nation, and space is at the center of this shift. We are at the hinge of history, and you will attract new generations of America into service to make sure that we always compete, deter, and God forbid if deterrence were to fail, to win. America can sleep well, as I hope to do starting tonight, because you are always above, ensuring the security of the United States and our allies. Semper Super.